Tuesday night on the Krug Show, Raj from RSF 49ers is in the house in his regular spot. We're going to talk a little bit about the 49ers. What do they look like in the first half? What are they going to do at the deadline? Will they make a run to the Super Bowl in the second half? It's the Krug Show, and it starts right. No, that's not the intro. That's not the intro. All right, we get it rolling on the Krug Show. That was the intro. Welcome to the Krug Show on a Tuesday night. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. We will be there on Sunday from noon to 6. Stop by and say hello. Thanks to Damon. Thanks to Mary. Thanks to all the good people at Pig and a Pickle. Get some brisket. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California on the Monterey Peninsula. Call my friend Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. And we are also brought to you by Better. That's right. And we will wager later on this hour. This live stream is sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. We won real money last week. So download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners to get your first deposit matched up to $200. And there you go. Kev is putting it up. The meet and greet Sunday, November the 3rd at Corte Madera, Pig and a Pickle. We'll be there from noon until 6 p.m. We're going to be watching football, eating barbecue, drinking some beer, and hanging out. Stop by and say hello. And I know Damon Bruce has his meetup at the same time. Don't go to Damon's meetup. Come to mine instead. There you go. And I'm not competitive at all, but I will remember each and every person. Anyway, Kev says my mic's a little hot. All right. Let's take a look at the mic. We can turn it down just a tad. There we go. It's down a little bit. Okay. Look at that. Kev's monitoring me from behind the scenes. But Raj from RSF 49ers is in the house. Raj, good to see you. When I see you, I know it's Tuesday. By the way, your T-shirt guy, you're the guy who you go to for all your shirts. He's contacted me. I've been promised that the Greenlaw shirt that you were wearing last week is coming my way. Coming my way.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
I'm happy. I'm hyped up for you. I'm hyped up. And you know what? I might need to hit up that meet and greet, get some of that. I might have to.
I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you a beer. We'll sit there and we'll throw them back. But do you want to shout out your guy who creates the shirts?
Yeah,
I'd like to throw a little love to him because he has thrown me a couple shirts and I do appreciate him. And, you know, it's like I've seen The Sopranos. Everybody's beak has got to get wet.
Yeah. Everybody got to eat. Yeah, it's Lolita Custom on Instagram. Lolita
LALITA customs. Custom or customs?
_custom.
_custom.
Yeah. So check him out on Instagram. The guy makes quality shirts. Like this shirt I'm wearing here. This is one of the new ones. Jerry Rice, the greatest, the GOAT. This shirt is one of his new ones. So
that's nice.
Good dude. He makes good shirts, and you know, I'd like to wear his shirt. So yeah, Lolita Custom on Instagram. Go check him out. He's got a storefront. If you check it out, his link is in his page, and you can go check it out. So,
do you know what community his storefront's in?
He has his own. It's like his own storefront. Like he made his own. I can't remember exactly what he uses, but yeah, he made his own. It's his own little side business and everything. So it's good stuff.
Good for him. Good for him. Okay. Well, you know, we want to start off tonight, and you know, usually we start with a fun topic, but you know what? Tragedy. You know, befell the 49er family today. And that's Mooney Ward's 1-year-old daughter, Amani Joy, has passed away. And the Niner family is devastated. It was a sudden passing. It's his beloved 1-year-old daughter, Amani Joy. And I never met her, but, you know, like many 1-year-olds, they said that she embodied pure happiness and brought joy to all those around her, with her sweet demeanor and her laughter. And so we grieve tonight with Mooney, with Charvarius and his wife, Monique. And we send them our love and our support. And, that's really all we can do. I mean, it's just an unimaginable tragedy of biblical proportions. I mean, anytime you lose a family member, it's tragic. But when you lose a young one, that's so tragic. And a 1-year-old is just beyond. I can't even imagine. You guys know me. I'm somewhat of an emotional person. I don't know that I could keep my emotions in check if I were him. And he's playing in the NFL. It's like you have to really pour every bit of your focus, your energy, your emotion, your everything has to go into your doing your job. It's an all-encompassing thing on Sunday afternoons, and I feel for him. I mean, to have to, exist in the pressure cooker of a public profession while grieving also publicly the loss of a 1-year-old. It's hard to make sense of sometimes. And so I wouldn't say that, Mooney and I are close or anything. I've interviewed him a few times. I really like him. One of my best interviews I think I've ever done was with Mooney. And my thoughts and prayers go out to him and Monique and the entire Ward family as they go through this tragedy. And I don't know, Raj, if, I don't want to drop this in your lap. I don't know if you have anything prepared to say. I just wanted to start the show and make sure that before we went in any other direction, that we absolutely mentioned that Charvarius and his family are very much in our thoughts and prayers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just like everybody else, devastated with this news. I mean, I can't imagine losing a child, especially at that age, 1 year old. And like he said, she's already had so much adversity. She had some special needs and everything. And I can't imagine what the family's going through. So just like you said, thoughts and prayers up to the Ward family. The guy's an amazing guy. I've talked to him many times behind the scenes, on Instagram and stuff, and super nice guy. So, I mean, it's just gutted. I was gutted when I saw this news today. I was like, man, I don't know how he's going to get through the season. He's going to have to play with a lot of, emotions, like you said, and it's just going to be a heavy heart going through a game. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, when you lose a loved one and trying to go back to your life and work and everything like that, it's tough. So, prayers up to Mooney Ward and his family. And, let's, if he needs time off, that's totally acceptable. Whatever he has to do to get through this, because you can't tell anybody how to grieve. And, just prayers up, man. That's just devastating news, Larry.
Yeah, no question. And, words do not make it any better. It's just a tragedy. It's just an absolute tragedy. And our thoughts and prayers go to Mooney and everybody in the Niner family. Now we try to make that always awkward and rough transition back to football and, more mundane things like, bye weeks and injuries and that kind of thing. It's not really life and death. It's more, sports is the toy department of life. So we transition back to the toy department of life. And when the Niners are on the bye week, I saw today that they worked out today. They had a meeting, and then they're off. They're off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Shanahan gave them 5 days off. Wow. Sometimes teams will give their players 3 or 4 days off. The Cowboys took 6 days off during their bye week because they just wanted to get away because they had such a crushing defeat at the hands of the Detroit Lions. The Niners will take 5 days off now, and they'll reconvene on Monday. But if you go down to Santa Clara, and I'm not suggesting anybody should because they won't let you in, but if you went down there this week, you'd find that a lot of the guys who got hurt in the first 8 games and are going to be rehabbing. They will not be on a Cancun cruise or anything else. They will not be on a beach. I mean, Kalia Davis told me he's not going anywhere. Christian McCaffrey, according to Shanahan, he's going to stay in the Bay Area this week, and he's going to go through a simulated practice routine, and with an eye towards him trying to return to the field and for the Niners to open his practice window on November the 4th, and maybe he can come back against Tampa Bay. And Shanahan said it really depends on how it goes this week. They're going to try to ramp him up. He hasn't had any setbacks yet from the dual Achilles tendonitis that he battles in both legs. So, he's had no setbacks, so they're on a good track, but he's going to hit it hard this week while the rest of the team is gone. And, all I would say is probably no news is good news, but I'm a little concerned because, if it goes good, he'll be back at practice next Monday, and maybe he's playing a week from Sunday against the Buccaneers. But if it doesn't go good, he could have a setback, and this could be the end of his year. So it's kind of a pivotal week, despite the fact that it's a bye week. These workouts for CMC will kind of determine if he's going to make it back or not. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I do think it's interesting that they're ramping him up now, because technically, if they ramp him up this week and he has a recurrence or some kind of a major setback or a rupture, anything major, they still have the ability to make a trade before Tuesday. So I would imagine, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the trade deadline, but I do find it interesting that they chose this week to ramp him up, because if he, in the process of ramping up, can't handle the workload and has any kind of significant step back, they still have the ability to go out in the trade market and trade for a running back. Do you think that is why they're ramping him up this week?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that's part of it. Definitely, I feel like there's a few reasons why, and I'm glad that the Niners are on the bye week first and foremost, because they needed this bye. They've been banged up. They're at a good spot. They're 4-4. They need to recover. This season hasn't been perfect. There's been a lot of injuries, not only CMC, but guys like Juwan Jennings will be back. So it's good that the 49ers are going to get this bye week. And Kittle the other night said, you know what? I'm going to disappear. Me and my wife, we're going to go take a little rest. These guys need that. But yeah, some of these guys, they're going to be in this facility grinding, CMC. I think it's smart that he ramps up now, because if he has a setback, then okay, next week we got to make sure Mason's ready to go, who had the shoulder issue, and they got to reevaluate him. And Isaac Guerendo continue to get him some more carries. But it also does give him an opportunity to say, oh, wow, you had a setback this week. Maybe we got to make a trade, But they also, again, have to reevaluate Jordan Mason, because he does have his shoulder. So I think that's part of it. And also, too, in the rehab world, you always want to kind of rehab and be a little ahead of the game. So when you're doing this, it makes sense to ramp up this week, Larry, because if you ramp up next week, he's going to still be a little bit more rusty coming into that practice. So you kind of get a little bit of that rust off now, because you're going up a little bit more strenuous than you were these last couple of weeks. And if you remember what Lynch said, over the course of the weeks, they're going to continue to ramp up. Now they want to go almost full go. So when he goes to practice next week, it's not like, oh man, I'm a little rusty or I'm a little tired. Because then if he has a setback now, he probably would have had a setback next week. So it's smart in the rehab world to be ahead of the the curve there. So I think that's probably why. But yeah, I think you made a good point with that, Larry. Is if they do know he's still having some issues this week, they might be able to get on the phone and say, hey, Raheem Mostert, come back to the Bay, something like that,
Isaac Guerendo was the Pepsi Rookie of the Week, and Guerendo's ranked second among all running backs in Bay percentage, the percentage of runs that are considered breakaway runs. So BAY percentage, breakaway runs. The number one back in the NFL, Derrick Henry, 53.2%, but number two on the list, ahead of Tank Bigsby, who's been an absolute revelation for the Jaguars, and Saquon Barkley, who's obviously having a much of a bounce back year in Philly. It's Guerendo, 48.5% breakaway runs. Big Isaac Guerendo. In fact, Baldy weighed in on 95.7 today, the game, on Guerendo. So we're going to let you hear a little bit of that from Kev has it on Kev's Twitter here. We'll play you. Here's Bonte and Shasky on 95.7 interviewing Baldy this morning, and the conversation turned to Big Isaac Guerendo.
I want to get back to Guerendo here, because I'm watching Mason. I'm a big Mason fan, and it felt like maybe he was missing the wrong holes or maybe choosing the wrong spot to cut back. I'm not as sophisticated as him as a runner. I don't know the offense as well, but it just felt like since the shoulder injury, he wasn't running with the same ferocity, finishing runs as he had weeks prior. And Guerendo's gotten better and better every single week. Now, put Mason to the side here. What specifically did you see from Guerendo that you think is sustainable going forward? Because he's got the juice.
Well, he's got breakaway speed now. You saw that in the 76-yard run, I think, the week before. But, he's got breakaway speed. I mean, he was the fastest back in the draft at 218 pounds. So, I mean, speed is – so you got that. But, there's a lot of guys that have speed that don't know how to run. I mean, I just think he's He's got really good feet. I don't know if he's as powerful as Mason is when he puts his head down and he steamrolls people, the way you described, because that's how he was finishing those runs. But this guy is he's still a load, though. I mean, he's still big. And, every running back has to like I remember blocking for different backs, and, some backs you knew where they were going, and some backs, you just couldn't figure out where they were going. And I feel like the dance that every back has to do with the offensive line, I think the rhythm is starting to come with him. And you saw that. You saw that against Dallas.
Okay, so the first carry against the Cowboys, he ran up the back of one of his own guys and fell on the ground. I don't know if you saw that. But, I mean, He was not hit by the opposition. He was hit by he ran up the back of his own guy and went to the ground. So a lot of people will hear me say, oh, Guerendo doesn't have running back instincts. And that's what I'm talking about. He does some things that show how raw he is, but he does have high level speed and quickness. And I kind of think he hits the hole a little harder than Mason. Mason has a little bit more of the Le'Veon Bell. He's got these beautiful, great feet, and he's got acceleration. He's got this great ability to kind of change tempo, but he doesn't, Le'Veon Bell danced at the line. And if you notice Jordan Bell, the Niners are struggling to run it in the low red zone, and they're struggling to run it with Mason on short yardage because he dances a little bit. He's a little hesitant. He doesn't hit it up in there quite like Guerendo. Now, Guerendo's raw, and he doesn't have great vision. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but man, he hits the hole hard. And Raj, if you can get Guerendo through the line of scrimmage and gets to that second level, then he's oftentimes literally one defender taking a bad angle away from a house call. Yeah. I mean, that's what this kid can do. He's going to take it to the house if he gets to the second level and guys take a bad angle. And you think about it, everybody thinks that these players are all in the scouting reports. And some are. Fred Warner, super scouting report guy. But a lot of guys don't read the scouting reports, and they just judge the angle based on the look. So you see a 220-pound back come through the hole, and you just assume he's got one speed. Well, when all of a sudden he runs 4.33 like Guerendo does, unless you have that on the brain and tell yourself, hey, take a more conservative angle. This guy's got game-breaking speed. If you haven't read your scouting report, you're likely to take a bad angle, and if you do, he's gone. And once he gets to the third level, good luck, man. If he can get to that third level with as much power, he turns speed to power into power as well as anybody. If he gets to that third level, there's no DB in the league that wants to solo bring this guy down. So he's exciting. He's raw, and he remains raw. But one of the comments that Shanahan had in the postgame Sunday was that, and this was a great comment, he said, Isaac Guerendo gets better after every carry. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see that he's got a conscientious side to him. He wants to be good. He doesn't want to make the same mistakes twice. He put the ball on the carpet a couple times, and now he's got that thing locked up in his arms. He's like Larry Zonka. You're not ripping that away from him. So I love that. I love a player who's got ability and has the desire to improve. That to me, when you have those two factors, man, the sky's the limit. So is he raw? Yeah. Do I still feel like he lacks running back instincts? Yeah. But what this guy can do, the other guys can't do. And I think if I don't know what kind of load he can shoulder, but if you don't have McCaffrey coming back, I got to think Guerendo's going to get a ton of carries in the second half of the year. He's explosive.
No, yeah, he's a freaking blur. He's 4.3 speed on a running back. He's inexperienced. We knew that coming in after the draft. He wasn't a starter. He's a backup, but his speed is why Shanahan drafted him. This guy has a lot of just pure speed. Like, bottom line, if he can get past those defenders on the line, he's gone. Again, if he can get there, it's just that vision initially. he lacks it a lot. And that's what you were saying. He's just very inexperienced. But over time, he's going to get better. And I noticed it too, because when he first came in his first run, I mean, he went right into one of the linemen, and it was like, oh my God, this guy's. And everybody was like, this is a horrible pick. He's going to be terrible. Why did Kyle get this inexperienced guy? But every week he's gotten better and better. And now it's like, man, he was the guy that sealed the deal. He saved this team. Mason went down. He saved the team several times this year. And this rookie class overall has been stupendous, but he's one of the guys. Like, he just getting his playing time. There's been a lot of injuries, and these guys are just stepping up whenever their numbers are called. And you love to see it. As he kind of gets a little bit more acquainted to life in the NFL, I think he'll figure that out. Okay, I got to take this role. The hole's open here. I got to take this route, take this cut. So he'll get that. But the speed, you can't teach it. I feel like he runs a lot like Mostert, and I think it's a guy that Kyle wanted to replicate, in his offense, because Mostert was amazing on this offense. If you remember, NFC Championship game, it was the Mostert show, and this guy can kind of replicate that style, and he could take over games eventually when he kind of puts it together. Love the guy. I'm glad we got him. I don't know how many carries he can get, because he is, he's not that power guy, and I don't know how many hits he could take, because again, very inexperienced. He hasn't had to shoulder the load a lot, like you said. But very excited to see this guy continue to go.
Here's Baldy breaking him down a little bit more. Here's Baldy on Guerendo.
The great Bobby Turner is the 49ers running back coach. Everywhere he goes, running backs improve. This is 3rd and 2. Cowboys in a goal line defense, 6-2. Watch Guerendo press the hole right here. Like, he gets right in front of Overshown right here. And then he trusts his speed and his cutting ability to come out here and put a stiff arm on Marquise Bell. He could even score another touchdown, averaging over 6 yards a carry. But he's a smart player. He slides down. Could easily scored. But the clock keeps ticking right here. Clock keeps ticking. This Guerendo is a heck of a player. But he's being well coached by the great Bobby Turner.
Let's roll this one back for a second. And to me, what's really impressive about this, so now he's, as he says, he's pressing the hole. Overshown's right in front of him. I mean, they're a foot apart. He sidesteps him to the left, and then here comes Marquise Bell, the safety, right? And so now, you see him moving away from Overshown. Let's see if we can get this going.
Shown right here. And then he trusts his speed.
Okay, so yeah. So now look at this, though. Look at this. 14's right there. Look at the angle 14 has on him. He's got him. He's absolutely got him. There's no blocker in front. And yet, so right here, he thinks, I got him. And he starts to close on the running back. So you look at him close up the field. He's got him. He knows there's nobody in between him. He's closing on the running back. And he's either going to close and get him here, right? He's got him somewhere right around here. But then look at the speed. One step. Now they're even. 2 steps. Now he's by.
Yeah.
3 steps. Now he's reaching for him, but now he's, instead of getting the angle, now he doesn't have the angle. Now Guerendo throws out his arm, and Bell kind of whiffs. Bell doesn't really even touch him. Never put a finger on him for the most part. And there you go. And that's a house call if he wanted it to be a house call. Instead he sat. But like, if you go back to right here, he's got him. He's absolutely got him. And he's got him right here. And he's got him right here. But this step and the next step, and look at that stride and look at the speed. And then he still should have him. Now he's reaching for him, and now he's grasping air. He's got nothing. Look at the separation. More and more separation as we roll this thing. That's speed, man. He's
figuring it out. He's figuring it out. I love it, man.
Kid's got some talent. Kid has some serious talent. Fun to watch too. All right, it is time to tell you that we are brought to you by Better. That's right. This live stream is sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. We just won last week. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners to get that first deposit matched up to $200. All right, let's take a look at our Better lineup for this week. Well, we can't go Niners because the Niners are on the bye.
Yeah, that's true.
So
What are we gonna do?
What,
We can do
what
some
team?
NBA.
No, we'll pick a different game. We'll pick a different NFL game. What game would you like to go with?
Man, let's see a good game. Ooh, man, next week's game don't look good. Detroit Green Bay.
Let's go Detroit Green Bay. Let's go Detroit Green Bay.
That's the game of the week.
Game of the week. Okay. Laporta, 41.5 receiving yards. Amon Ross St. Brown, 74.5 receiving yards. Goff, 247.5 passing yards.
Green Bay's defense is good, but I think, I got to go Goff, man. He's been playing fantastic.
You like Goff more than 247? Let's go with Goff. So. We'll go with Goff more than 247.5. So he's got to throw for at least 248. Let's take a look at Detroit's side of this thing. Or let's take a look at Green Bay's side of this thing. Let's see. Do we not have a Green Bay side of this thing?
Should be.
Is it just Detroit? Player. Looks like we just have Detroit. Okay, let's take a look at Rams Seattle. Let's take a look at Rams Seattle. We'll go to Rams Seattle. Okay, so you've got Stafford, 247 passing yards, 247.5. Kyron Williams, 79.5 rushing yards. What do you think of Seattle's run D?
They've been inconsistent. Honestly, they're bad.
Ernest Jones.
Yeah, I kind of like the Stafford prop on that, but Kyron Williams has been cooking as well.
You like more or less on Stafford?
I like Stafford more.
Okay.
I think the Rams are going to win this. I think the Rams are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
In Seattle, yeah. Seattle looks bad to me. So let's go Stafford more than 247.5 passing yards.
Yeah.
Let me see Washington, New York Giants. Let's see what neighbors. Where's neighbors in this thing? Let's see what the New York Giants. Do we have neighbors?
Danny Dimes.
We have Daniels. Robinson. I'm seeing a lot of the Daniel Jones. Only Daniel Jones. All right, let's take a look at Daniels. Let's go Jaden Daniels. Let's see what he's got. Jaden Daniels has 235.5 passing yards, 48.5 rushing yards. I like him under the rushing yards.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of rushing yards for a quarterback. He's going to run for 50 yards.
That defense of the Giants is actually not bad. They're actually not bad.
Yeah, I like that defensive coordinator. So let's go less than 48.5 rushing yards for Jaden Daniels.
Fair.
All right, here we go.
I hope the Niners can get Ojulari after the Giants lose this game.
Seriously, maybe Saturday. There we go. So we have Stafford over 240. He's got to pass for Goff's got to pass for 248. Stafford's got to pass for 248. That's kind of our number. And then Daniels has got to run for 48 yards or less. Basically, if he gets to 49, he goes over. Okay. All right, that sounds good. Let's bet. What are we going to bet? 10 on it. Let's see what we got. 3 for 3 is 5 times. Yeah. So let's go 10. 10 to win 50, something like that. I like it. Once again, use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners and get your first deposit matched up to $200. And thanks to Better for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, a couple other topics I want to hit before we get out of here. Rookie rankings. I was looking at the rookies this week, and I was thinking, what has happened? What's the story of the Niners season? And to me, the story of the Niners season is this. It's caught up with them that they have wasted 7 first-round picks on guys that aren't with the team or aren't doing anything. So that's hurt them. And then the injuries have hurt them. And then the kind of the gutting of the defensive roster for Hargrave in combination with missing on 7 first-round picks and the injuries, I think it's just made them overall just a little thinner. So as the injuries have been felt, they're hurting a little bit more. But the one thing that's offsetting this is the rookie class This rookie class has given this team a huge shot in the arm. I don't know where they would be without this rookie class. I think they would be in a world of hurt, to be completely honest. So I think everybody knows that Dom Mooney has been their best rookie. His PFF stats, Raj, through 8 games, 289 pass blocking opportunities, 0 sacks allowed, 0 quarterback hits allowed.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And he's just bulldozed. It's not that he's not giving up sacks, which is fantastic. He's also a beast in the running game. Like, he's on both spectrums of his job. He's doing an absolute job. Like, this guy is a stud. I'm so happy we drafted him because they needed an whole lineman.
Great dude, too. Unbelievable dude. So he's been the best rookie. If I say to you, outside of Mooney, who's been a plug and play guy, who outside of Mooney, who's the Niners' best rookie?
And it's been a great class.
Bernardo, Guerendo, Cowing, Mustafa, Bethune, Evan Anderson, Jalen Mahoney. Those are the names. Who is the most valuable rookie outside of Mooney? Mooney will give him that because he's started all year at right guard. So we'll give Mooney as the best rookie. But who's the second best rookie?
Outside of Mooney, it's Malik Mustafa, man. This guy has come in. Me and you sat here for weeks talking, oh my God, the safety situation. They need a safety. They can't cover the safety. This man is coming in, and he just stole Talanoa Hufanga's job. Absolutely going to be the future of our secondary. Malik Mustafa, he's a hitter. He's a hitter. He can hit you dead in the tracks. His coverage is fantastic. He made one of the big clutch plays on Sunday night where he got in front of the ball, got the big PBU break. That was a huge play because that could have been a touchdown, saved a touchdown. He's been absolutely great. I know he got trucked by Mahomes. Is welcome to his NFL moment. But other than that, this guy has been a straight dog in the secondary. I'm so glad we got this guy. And he is just a thumper. And he has good coverage skills, which is a plus because usually your safety can't cover with the damn, Jaquaski Tart. We remember to drop the interception. This guy's not dropping any interceptions that I could see of. So I love Malik Mustafa. He's my guy behind Mooney.
That's a great one. I mean, he's just he there's nothing not to like about that kid. I mean, he's just he's a great kid. He's got a 46.6 passer rating when targeted. He's made 20 tackles. The longest reception he's allowed all year is for 7 yards. He's had a pick and 2 PBUs and a group of monster hits. I mean, some really, really, really big hits. So, I would say Mustafa's been the second best, but I'll tell you, the more I watch the Niners, and especially when I watch the All-22, Renardo Green is a very close on the heels of Mustafa. Renardo Green has the 4th best PFF 49er defensive grade of anybody on the defense. He allows a reception percentage of 47.1% and a passer rating of only 83 when targeted. Renardo Green, when I watched the last game, I thought he had the tightest coverage of any of the Niner corners, including Lenor. I mean, Renardo Green is a really good cover guy. He's very serious. He's not a joke around kind of a guy. This guy might be the best. This guy might be the best rookie. I mean, this guy's coverage ability is really noticeable when you watch the All-22. You're like, wait a second. Renardo Green is in the hip pocket of every receiver that he's defending against. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, he's sticky, man. He was my next after Mustafa. Those two guys, to me, it's like 1A, 1B. Those two have been so valuable for this defense. I feel like once they got inserted into this lineup, the defense has really changed its abilities. Like, they've been sticking receivers. Obviously CeeDee Lamb had that big 4th quarter. But other than that, man, these two guys have been just lights out. They've been strapping it up. And, before these last couple of games, before Green came in and made a lot of, headway, people were screaming, get Yadam out of there, get Yadam out of there. They finally gave Green his opportunity, and he's just been taking off every week. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. This guy, he looks really good. But we'll see if he could continue it up. But secondary has been an issue, and I'm so happy that the 49ers have kind of figured it out with these guys. They've been grabbing some slick cornerbacks and safeties, over the years. And finally it's panning out, Lenor and Green and Mustafa, they made some mistakes, here and there, but I like what I see out of the future of these guys for sure.
We got this super from 49er _ throwback. He says Trayvon Diggs of the Cowboys credits the Niners coaching staff for their win. Gave props to Kittle and Brock Purdy. Did y'all see Brock beat the spy? I did. As far as Diggs, Diggs, you saw Mike McCarthy today. I mean, Mike McCarthy's like, hey, come on, we got to be better than that. We can't be going after media people in the post game. I mean, it's just like, it's just a bad look. I don't even care if he's in the right. It just makes you look so petty, so bad, so soft, so like you can't handle a little bit of criticism, and you got to sit there and yell at some 40-year-old guy and be like, dude, you can't cover in the NFL. Yeah, so what? You probably can't do what he does. So, what's your point? Do you have a point? I mean, seriously. So that's a real insult. If all of a sudden, so now the only people that can question corners in the NFL would be like Richard Sherman. Everybody else has to shut the fuck up. I don't know if I go with that. So it's like, nobody can question a president unless you're all White House correspondents from now on have to be ex-presidents. I mean, what's that? So Sam Donaldson back in the day had no right to comment on the president. Dan Rather, shut the hell up. You don't have a right to talk about the president. You were never the president. Do you see how simple and how stupid that is? It's like what? So nobody can comment on football except for ex-football players. I mean, maybe the guy pissed off Diggs, and there's some kind of relationship there. I do blame the media person to some degree, because I don't have that happen to me. I go into the locker room every day and I ask questions to players. I don't have guys blowing up in my face and, dude, Krug, you don't know Jack and you don't know shit and you're not. No, I don't get that.
I would love to see one of the players say something to you later. These nuts. You can talk about these nuts.
You could, and the guy's like, hey, you could answer the question. You could talk. And he's like, talk to these nuts. Talk to these. But I mean, seriously. So I kind of put it on the media, in that it's on the media to cultivate a trust and a relationship with the players. And but you never know. I don't know anything about Diggs. Maybe Diggs is the kind of guy that likes to throw media people under the bus. I don't know. But the whole, you can't do what I can do, so you can't question me. Well, you can't do what I can do, so you can't talk. I mean, what's that? I mean, you can't talk as well as I can talk about the game, so you can't talk. I mean, it's like this guy can't comment, and his opinions are not valid because he didn't play. I mean, it's just, come on, dude. I mean, that's cretinous, stupid shit.
It was a crazy moment, yeah, for sure. I just was like, whoa, I couldn't believe he did address it. I know Michael Parsons has his little podcast. They talked about it, but I think Mike McCarthy's right. Just got to stop focusing on this petty stuff. Like, honestly, just wash it off. It sucks. You're irritated. You're in the moment. I'm sure players get mad at Niner media sometimes, but I think they know better. You can't blow up on someone in that, because it's going to become a viral moment. And everybody saw that moment, and all they could take away, like you said, whether he's in the right or not, they don't care. They're just going to look at this guy and say, he's a hothead. He's stupid. He looks dumb. He looked dumb in that moment.
Well, McCarthy said, this is what McCarthy said today. He says, but I think we have to be better in those moments. I always talk about staying on a high road. That's part of our responsibility in this business. But I'm not ignorant or naive to the fact that this generation, that's part of the world they live in, the social media world. You have to manage that. That's part of being a professional athlete. That's part of representing this organization properly. So, yeah, I mean, would Charles Haley or Brent Jones or any of the athletes of yesteryear, would these guys have been able to handle the social media, the immediacy and the direct criticism that you receive on social media, oftentimes from people that don't know crap about what they're watching? But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you still have to show some level of decorum. You're a football player and he's a football media person. This just in, the players know more about the game than the average run-of-the-mill media person. So the players are always going to know more. But there's a respectful way to question the players, and there's a respectful way to check the media. And all I would say is, this media person in Dallas and Diggs probably should take notice of that. That, there's a respectful way to do all these things. There's a right and wrong way to do everything. But, come on, you got to be a little bit more of a pro than to just call out, this media guy in a kind of an unprofessional way. And it looked bad. The optics were bad. I don't know anything more than that, but the optics were definitely not good.
No.
And it's just one of those things where, come on, you can do better than that. All right. There's a lot of talk about the 49ers getting a wide receiver. D-Hop went to Kansas City for a 5th. Today, Deontay Johnson went to Baltimore, and a lot of people were unhappy about it because the price was super low. And it's like, hey, 49ers, don't you want Deontay Johnson? Instead, he's in Baltimore, and they flipped late day 3 picks. So the price was negligible. Amari Cooper jumped from Cleveland to Buffalo in a trade. Devontae from the Raiders to the Jets. Christian Kirk, who's been rumored to go to the Niners, is now out for the year with a broken clavicle, so you can take his piece off the chessboard. Let me run down the receivers, and you just tell me what you think, okay? Here we go. Jerry Jeudy, Cleveland Browns.
He's got a high price tag. I don't think the Niners are going to be able to get him, but they could probably get him for a 4th, 5th. But I think his price tag relative to his contract too high. Yeah.
Adam Thielen, Carolina Panthers.
Maybe like 4 years ago, but
yeah, he's too old. He doesn't separate. They get better. I don't want to. You have Pearsall and Cowing. So if you're going to get a receiver, that receiver better not fit into the category of he's clogging up the position for the other guys. And that's what I think Thielen would do.
He's like Ricky Pearsall in like 15 years. That's what I feel.
Exactly. Give me Ricky now. How about T. Higgins?
He's going to want money, isn't he? That's why the whole issue is with Cincinnati. It's the money issue. But I wouldn't mind T. Higgins. Go give me T. Higgins, man. But he's a good player.
It's just a matter of.
It would be a rental, though. We're not keeping him. But
Cortland Sutton, Denver.
Are they going our way? Are they trading him? They're kind of competing, Larry. It's probably
playing well. Yeah, they're playing well, though. I think they're going to get beat this week. But I was just looking at it. They're playing somebody that's going to beat them. Let me see. I'll tell you. Denver this week. Who does Denver have this week? It is week 9. The Broncos play the Ravens in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, they're going to get cooked after the Ravens lost last week. No, but I think it would. I wouldn't hate it, but I think him too. His price is a little high, but
I don't think he separates. To me, he doesn't separate. He's a big receiver. I mean, he's 6'4" and change.
Yeah. He's like a Jennings type guy, but I would take him. He's a good, strong, healthy, tall target, but I think you're right. We need a separator, but I just don't think he's on the market right now because Denver's
Jacoby Myers, Raiders.
I wouldn't want him.
Mike Williams, Jets.
I'd take him.
See, to me, he's a little slow.
He's
a little slow. He seems kind of like they already have slow guys.
I feel like you know what?
Chris Conley speed and youth because Ayuk runs the deep routes. He's not going to play this year, and he's not going to play next year, most likely. Or at least a good portion of next year.
The way I look at it, if they're getting a veteran, it's going to be a rental. It's just going to be a rental for this year. So
yeah, it doesn't have to be, but most of them are. KJ Osborne, New England.
No, I think if they're going to go after a New England receiver, I think they're going after Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah. I don't love those New England receivers. I mean, if I get Douglas, I don't like the New England's, come on, those guys are slow. How about Carolina? We mentioned Thielen, and of course, Deontay Johnson's now a Raven, but how about Jonathan Mingo?
I wouldn't hate. I mean, you could probably get him for like a 6th round pick, so I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate the move.
I don't know about how fast he is. How about Cooper Kupp? You think Kupp's available?
No, I think the Rams are turning it around. They look good last week, man. If he is available, there's no way McVay trades him to Shanahan. Are you kidding me? He's not available He might be available, Larry, but not to the Niners.
Not to the Niners. How about Elijah Moore from the Browns? He ran 4.34 coming out of Ole Miss.
4.3. I'd take him. I take him.
I take him. That's the guy I really like. How about Tutu Atwell from the Rams?
I would definitely take him. He's got the speed. But again, I don't think McVay would trade anything to us.
Probably not. Maybe Tutu, but definitely not Cup.
But if we're talking about Tutu, Larry, I just think the Niners should just start using Cowling. They have a speed guy. Just use him.
Only thing is, it's like that's an awful lot to put on a little rookie. I mean, he is awfully little, and he is a rookie. How about Darius Slayton, New York Giants? He's relatively cheap, only a $2.5 million base salary for 2024, but it is the final year of his deal. He's set to be a free agent come March.
Yeah, so he'd be a nice little rental. I could see the Niners grabbing him and using him as depth again because Conley's hurt. He has a hamstring. Jennings, how fast is he going to be? How good is he going to be with the hip injury? That's going to limit him a little bit. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it. They're going to need a receiver for sure. They need one, regardless if they got Persall and Cowing. They need one.
Two more fast guys from New York. Jalen Hyatt of the New York Giants. They drafted him out of Tennessee. He doesn't play a lot, but he got good vertical speed. And the other one is Garrett Wilson of the Jets. I just saw a video yesterday. They were asking Garrett Wilson if he's hearing the trade rumors, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm hearing them. I don't know if I'm going anywhere or not, but if I am, I am." But to me, Raj, I know this would be a major move, but I would be willing to trade the draft capital to get Garrett Wilson. Why? Because I think Garrett Wilson would become the 49ers' best wide receiver, better than Ayuk, better than Debo, better than Pearsall, better than Cowing. I'd be willing to give a high pick or two for Garrett Wilson if the Jets would be willing to move off of him, because you're not going to have Ayuk next year, and you're probably not going to have Debo. But if you have Garrett Wilson on a rookie deal, you know what? I think next year he becomes your best receiver. That's the guy that I would make an aggressive play for. I know the price tag is going to be high, but I would make the move. If it took a first and a third to the Jets for Garrett Wilson, I'm giving them a first and a third, and I'm saying send me Garrett Wilson. What do you think?
That's out of all the receivers you mentioned, that's the only damn one I really want on that list. He's the only one worth it. And I think he could be a franchise receiver. And it would be smart because, yeah, you might give up a little bit now, but he's on a rookie contract, Larry. And that would be such a bargain right now. And I know you're tied up with BA, but BA is going to miss a lot of time because he tore an ACL, an MCL. He hurt his meniscus. You saw the video we posted yesterday on his recovery. He posted on YouTube. We clipped it. It's going to be a long time. And they're going to need a big-time receiver. Garrett Wilson, second year, he's one of the top receivers in the league. He just, in New York, and that's a horrible situation they have right there. Take him to the Niners. He's a top flight receiver in this league. Oh man, I would pay for him. Give up what you got to give up to him, John. That would be a money move. Absolutely.
I mean, it would be a big move, but you know what? It would also reflect that their need for next year is there at running back or at receiver. At receiver.
Yeah. He solves their problems. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he would absolutely solve a lot of their problems. Fred Warner called Demo Lenor an All-Pro. I'm looking for it on Coach Yak's Twitter, but I don't see it on there.
I posted on Instagram. It's Goat Media. I think they always hit me up to post. I just didn't get around to it.
Kev might have retweeted it. Let's see. Anyway, I don't see it here, but anyway, that's okay.
Right on Goat Farm Sports.
Goat Farm Sports?
Yeah. He said, Fred Warner says Diamond Lenore continues playing the way he has been. He'll be an All-Pro. Because we post with them. These guys, we actually collab with them on Instagram all the time. So sometimes their Twitter posts, we post them too. But yeah, we have a whole deal we post with them. Goat Farm Sports. They get it from the rear view.
Goat Farm Sports.
Yeah, GOAT Farm Sports.
Let's see if we can find it.
You tweet it right now, and then you just clip it off mine.
Is it on yours?
No, but I could post right now if you want.
Yeah, why don't you post it, and then I'll go to yours. I can see yours much quicker than I can see. Okay. You have George Kittle mic'd up on national tight end.
I'm posting it right now. Give me a second.
Okay.
We can get this out. I just got to get their. You got to tag them and everything.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, basically, Fred says that Demo's an all-pro. I think he's right. I think Demo has made Mooney Ward that decision, which I thought was an end of the year decision. I think that decision's been made.
It's
I think,
Larry. Good.
You got it? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me go to Raj's Twitter. I'll reboot it and let's see what it looks like. And then I can share the screen. Now, here it is. Fred Warner says if Demo Lenore. Here we go. We'll share the screen on this one so you guys can see it. Here we go. This is from now RSF 49ers, but here's Fred talking Demo. Pretty good stuff.
On that demo interception, my point of view on that play, sprint out pass by the offense. I'm trying to go pull up Dak. I'm sprinting, trying to get around the corner. He lets that thing rip, and my momentum was kind of already going like forward a little bit. So then I turn around, and when I turn around, I saw that demo already in there, the interception, and I had to go look at the highlights afterward to see the actual interception. I'm like, how did he even catch that? Like, how are you running like that? Flip around, snag that thing out the air, land on your shoulder inbounds. It's just stupid. It's just nuts. Demo needs that recognition, man. As long as he keeps doing what he's doing and continuing to be that guy for us that we need him to be, all pro. It gotta be. I mean, come on. Guys all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Fred's totally right. I mean, this guy's got to be an all pro. He's got to be an all pro. Demo Lenore has been just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. He's all pro. I mean, to me, there's no doubt. You know what's his greatest characteristic? He shows up for the W. He ain't about the cash. He ain't about the praise. He ain't about nothing. He shows up for the W. He shows up for the win. He shows up to beat you. When you get an entire roster full of guys who show up to win the game, guess what? You win games. When guys show up when they're all about their check, then they're not about the W. When they're all about their look, then they're not all about the W. This guy's all about the W. So he's a competitor first and foremost. So is he going to deliver the night hit on DeAndre Swift? Yeah, but he's also going to make big plays and big moments because he shows up to win. He shows up to win. And that, to me, is one of the most underrated traits in sports. You would think that every guy shows up to win. No, it's not the way it works. Some guys show up for the girls. Some guys show up for the cash. Some guys show up for the glory. Only a few guys show up for the W. And the guys who show up for the win, you start to see it. And you watch, when you're a fan of a team and you watch them week after week after week, you know what the players are about. You know what each guy's about. This Demo Lenore is probably one of the best guys on the team, and he is all about the win. And nothing else matters. Doesn't matter if he plays well. If he gets to win, he's happy. Doesn't matter if he plays great. Doesn't matter if he plays poorly. He cares about one thing. I've never seen him happy after a loss. I've never seen him unhappy after a win. When the Niners win, he's happy regardless of how he plays individually. And to me, when you get a whole room full of guys who show up for the W, you're unbeatable. That's him. That guy, he deserves the All-Pro nod. I mean,
absolutely.
Greenlaw did for years too and never got it. I hope he doesn't become this year's Greenlaw.
I hope so, but you're right. Fred's right. The more Demo continues to show out, he'll get the recognition because people just don't know him. Like, he's an underrated player. He's one of those guys. Rookie season, it was kind of up and down. Kyle talked about it. I've said this many times. He got them in trouble in that training camp, showing the clips on his Instagram. Blew up, went viral. And that first year, he was going through a lot of stuff. I remember, I think it was an interview. I can't remember who interviewed him, but they asked him a question. And he says, I had loss in the family. I wasn't in a good place. And he tried so hard. I could tell there was a big difference. That second year, you could see he was so motivated. He got his job back and he never looked back. Because I remember it was Ambry Thomas. He made the big play, sent the players to the Niners to the playoffs. And everyone's like, oh, Ambry's the guy. But that next year in training camp, I remember I was like, Demo's a little different this year. And he's worked his ass off to get up. And he's been such a big time player in those playoffs. when he had those big moments in the playoffs, it really showed, whoa, this guy's a big-time player. He picked off Dak Prescott in the playoffs a couple years ago on a similar interception, mind you, that he had the other night. Like, it was very similar. Crazy, leaping interception. This guy is a fantastic player. He's a baller. He's going to get paid this offseason. So I know money will be in his future. He is playing his tail off. If he gets that All-Pro, it's going to be expensive, but he deserves it. He's probably going to be our cornerstone franchise cornerback for the long haul. Happy for this guy. And, I loved his press conference at the end of the game, or his locker room, talk at the end. He was wearing his little goggles, little snowboard, gear. And he's like, I just want to play football because I don't want to bye week. I want to keep playing. Like, this guy just wants to go out there and play some football. I love Demo, man. Good dude.
Great dude. And a terrific player. I mean, just an incredible player. Let's hit a couple supers here. Let's see. I think we got this first one. Here we go. We got this one from Kevin Wood. He says, is there any sign of hope for the 23 draft class? Feels like the lack of starting players from 22 and 23 hurts more than the missed first rounders. I think what you mean is the 22 draft class, right? Because the 20 or no, I guess he's talking about 23.
Right. Last year.
He's talking about 23. Okay. So the 23 draft class was, let's see here. I had this a second ago. What is the 20? There it is. 23. So Drake Jackson, I talked to him last week in the press box. He'll be in training camp this summer. He's still rehabbing from his injury, but he's going to make a comeback. Ty Davis Price is gone. Danny Gray is gone. I think they're both in Philly, maybe. Burford, I think, definitely has a future. Womack, they blew it by cutting him. He's an Indy playing well. Zakel's a backup offensive lineman. Kalia Davis is playing well. Tariq Castro Fields is elsewhere. And that Purdy quarterback is pretty damn good. So as far as this draft, I mean, Burford is your only hope. And Kalia Davis. Burford and Kalia Davis are really the only hopes from that class. Yeah. We got this one from Jason Cabrera. What's the financial liability on BA now that he's injured? Well, it's the same. It's the same as when you're paying him. It's just you can't play. What's the financial liability? I mean, if you're cutting him, there would be his thing would accelerate. Otherwise, he's on the cap for whatever he's on the cap for next year. I don't have next year's cap. They can always redo the contract and change it around so it could be more cap friendly. So teams have the ability to restructure, but it doesn't change. His liability is the same as if he had never been hurt. As far as what's his cap figure for the next couple of years, I don't have that in front of me, but I'll look it up for you, Jason. We'll have it here in one of the streams. John Munitz's probability that Demo stays this offseason, I'd say 90%. I think he's going to be their priority.
Yeah.
Why I think you're hearing Mooney Ward trade rumors is because I think that decision's been made. I think they know they're going to stay with if it came down to Lenor or Mooney, it's going to be Lenor. And going to have to go somewhere else. One more I want to get your thoughts on. This
real quick, Larry. So going back to that draft class, I think you mentioned 22. So last year's 23 with Jair Brown. That was the class with Jair Brown. So I think you had looked up 2022. Which you're right. It wasn't that great. Burford and Kalia Davis. But 2023, you had Jair Brown, he hasn't taken that leap we like. He did have a good game last week. He's been kind of up and down. He's getting better. Jake Moody.
Brown's a good player. I like Brown. Moody's going to be a good kicker for years. Latu's cut. Luter made a great play on special teams. I think Luter's a real player. Luter's a real player.
He needs to stay healthy. I really like Luter. He's a dog. Yeah.
Beal is raw. I don't. He's nobody's bigger, stronger, faster. Winters is definitely a player. Braden Willis, I don't think is a blocker.
No,
but he's a decent receiver. Ronnie Bell is I think he's a low upside receiver. I don't think he's ever a starter. I like Jalen Graham. You guys know how much I like Jalen Graham. So I think Graham's going to be, he'll surface and I think become a starter someday. So you got Graham, you got Winters, you got Luter, you got Moody, and you got Jair. That's not bad. It's not a bad draft. You blew a third round pick on Latu.
I don't
Lots
see
of-
any of those guys being starters right away. Maybe, I mean, Jair Brown will probably start for a little bit longer,
He's a player.
but he's all right.
You don't like him? Jair's a hitter, man. He also had a pick in this game. You know, he's not a coverage player. He's a box safety.
He's just inconsistent. And yeah, I think now that Mustafa's back, his coverage doesn't make Jair Brown a liability. I think he was a liability a little bit more in coverage. I think he was kind of slow to get up to speed. He's getting better though. He is a little slow, but I don't hate him. I just don't think he's like an incredible playmaker like I thought he was going to be when he came in. He's still young though. He's still got a long time to get better. But I think he's good. I just don't think he's great yet.
Couple last ones before we jet. One more Baldy on 95.7. As you can tell, I'm a big Baldy fan, but they asked him about the trade deadline and what he thought. And he actually had a pretty kind of an interesting thought on this. Here is Baldy on 95.7 The Game talking about the trade deadline.
Had to add a piece to the Snyder's team, Baldy. Would it be a D tackle, D end, or would it be another wide receiver?
I would go defensive line. You know, maybe a guy that remember, like when they had like Arden here. You know, like I thought he was a really good Arden Key.
Yep.
I thought a guy that could be versatile, rush inside or outside like that. He's gone on and set himself a really good, career after he left. But I thought a guy like Arden Key, that type of a player, maybe not a starter someplace, maybe a rotational player. Like I'd be combing teams right now. They're not giving those guys away. They cost, they cost some collateral, some draft capital. But I'd be looking to add depth to the defensive line right now.
You had
Arden Key is playing for who now? Is he a Titan?
Titans, yeah.
Or is he Jacksonville?
He's on one of those teams. I think Titans.
Titans. Titans, Rand Carthon and John Lynch are buddies, so they should be able to hammer something out. I definitely think the D line is the spot. If you can add, I'd like to add Azeez Ojulari. I could, if you said to me, what do you think they're going to do? I think they're going to wind up picking up Sebastian Joseph Day again. I really do. I just think they feel like they need another defensive tackle. He's totally gettable. He's played decently. I think I could see him coming. I also think, Jacksonville might be an interesting trade partner. The Giants could be an interesting trade partner. Azeez Ojulari, I think, would be nice. Darnell Savage would be a really, really nice get for sure. All those guys. To me, a defensive end is almost probably the thing that I would want the most. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, honestly, we've talked about a lot. Defensive line has been an issue. They had injuries. I feel like I still think they could use an edge rusher to help out. Bosa's been incredible lately. This guy had he has 46 pressures now. He leads the league in pressures. He's coming into it, man. This last month, he's been cooking. But Leonard Floyd just hasn't given him enough juice that I felt like he was going to give. I wouldn't mind them adding an edge rusher. I like what I've seen out of Sam O. I compared the stats to Sam O and Arg Armstead, the guy that he's essentially come in for because they needed edge depth. Check this out, Larry. This guy, Sam O, was a nobody. Nobody knew this guy. Where would I post it? Where did I have? Let me find it. Oh yeah. So Sam O. This is through 8 games, right? Sam's actually played 7. He has 12 total tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, 4 tackles for loss, 6 QB hits. It's not bad for a rotational D lineman. Compared to Armstead, who got paid $17 million, he has 11 tackles, so it's less, only 1 sack, 0 forced fumbles, 2 tackles for loss, and only 2 QB hits. So this guy Sam O's coming in, rotational player, and he's outplaying the guy they got rid of that was worth $17 million. So they made a good investment in that end. So I agree with what Baldy said. Go get some guy that's a versatile guy that you can kind of put on this D line and kick it in and get something out of them, because they've kind of taken in D linemen over the years, and they were like players that nobody really knew or nobody wanted, or they were bust like Arden Key, and they made them really good. Kerry Hyder, Sam, what was that guy? Or Samson Ebicam, Charles Omenahu, like those guys were literally nobodies or relatively unknown, and they came in and they became like really big parts of this D line, and it was hard for them to replace those guys. So I do think they'll get someone on the D line. Hopefully an edge because, like I said, depth is kind of an issue. And we mentioned Robert Beal. He's just raw, like you said. He's just not giving him enough. So go get an edge rusher and a D lineman. I'll be happy.
Last topic I want to hit here before we get out of here, and this one is one that, you know, today the big story of today was Anthony Richardson, right? And Anthony Richardson, unfortunately, is, you know, getting benched in Indianapolis. He was the number 4 pick overall. They're going to go with Joe Flacco. Richardson, you know, in 8 starts. You know, he's, as a runner, he was injured 3 times on designed runs, and he fumbled 9 times. As a passer, he's completing 44% of his passes. You know, they've run him a lot. He's not that accurate. Anyway, I wanted to take a look at the quarterbacks that we've seen come out since Mahomes. Okay. So Mahomes was in the 2017 draft. And so I wanted to look at the 2018 draft to the present. And then I looked at this year, and of course you got Caleb playing well, you got Jaden Daniels playing well, Drake May not playing well, Penix is not playing, McCarthy's hurt, Bo Nix is playing pretty well. So you got 3 guys who aren't playing, and you got one that's out for the year. You got 3 guys that are playing and playing pretty well. So this year, you know, it's hard to evaluate the first year quarterback. So I took this year out of it. So just take a look at 2018 since Mahomes was in that 2017 draft. Since Mahomes in the 2017 draft, I looked at the last 6 drafts, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. In the last 6 drafts, there have been 21 quarterbacks selected in the first round. Of the quarterbacks selected in the first round, there's really only 4 stars: CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. So, you know, roughly 20%, 19% of the 21 became stars. There's 7 others who became solid NFL starters: Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua Tagovailoa. And then, so that's 33%. So a third of the quarterbacks drafted from 2018 through 2022 have been just solid NFL starters, not stars, but not busts. But 10 of them have been busts. And that's Josh Rosen, Dwayne Haskins, the late Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Anthony Richardson, and Bryce Young. So you got 48% busts, 33% solid starters, 19% stars in the last 6 drafts among the 21 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. I guess I would throw it to you this way. You know, one, which quarterback would you want to build around of the quarterbacks that have been drafted since Mahomes? Mahomes was 2017. Obviously, if you gave everybody a choice right now, you can have any quarterback in the NFL to build around. Everybody's taking Patrick. Yeah. But if I made you take somebody from the 2018 through the 2023 draft, so you can't take any of the rookies this year, and you can't have Mahomes or Watson, not that you would take Watson, from 17. But you can have any quarterback in 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, 22, and 23. Who are you taking who would you want to build around of the quarterbacks that have been in those drafts, in those 6 drafts? CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Who's the quarterback that you would want to build around?
It's tough. There's a lot of busts, and I saw another post I wanted to give up, but honestly, I'd probably, Lamar's been an MVP. It's a tough one. I'd probably say CJ Stroud or Josh Allen. Honestly, Josh Allen's got it all. You know, he can run, he can throw.
Won the MVP.
I know he has, but I like.
You like the pocket passer.
That's a tough question. I mean, because there's been Honestly, I like CJ Stroud. I love his upside. He's young. He's got a little bit of everything. Those two guys, I mean, I'd probably build around one of those guys, Josh Allen or CJ Stroud. I like them both. They look like they have the intangibles. They're smart. They got a good head on their shoulders. Josh, it's unfortunate. He's had some interceptions here and there. He's melted down in the playoffs. But Lamar, he's absolutely melted down. He wins great in the regular season, but he's not really a quarterback. That's not the way I wouldn't want to build my team around him. Great player. I have nothing against Lamar, but I just would prefer to go with Josh Allen or CJ Stroud, a little bit more traditional quarterback. But also, these quarterbacks have come out are just, man, I feel like they're rushing them. There was a post. I can't remember. Let me see. There was a post by.
Well, no, that part two of this question is the NFL, and this is the post I think you're referring to. The NFL is a giant young quarterback development problem because, I mean, take a look. Anthony Richardson benched today. He's 22.
Yeah, I saw
Bryce
that.
Young has been benched. He's 23. Trey Lance got benched. He's 24. Justin Fields got benched. He's 25. Will Levis, the same. He's 25. Zach Wilson, 25. Mac Jones, 26. Kenny Pickett, 26. They don't have a developmental league. The NFL is copying. The college game is very much a spread offense kind of a game now. And it's like, I don't know. I'd almost rather take a shot instead of in this next draft, instead of drafting, the top prospect in the next draft, I'd almost rather try to reclaim one of these guys.
Oh, no, please no. They're all terrible, Larry. That's why they're
You think
benched.
those guys are all terrible?
Anthony, I was saying it for weeks. This guy's not good. Go start Flacco. They're so smart for starting Flacco. They're going to win games with Flacco. I'm telling you. He's the most elite game manager I've ever seen. Anthony Richardson, I was not on the hype. I watched a lot of Florida football, and he was the most inconsistent quarterback. He was hyped because he could run a lot of these quarterbacks.
Look though. A year ago, Raj, we could have put Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on this list.
Yeah, but these guys are just.
You see what I'm saying?
Trey Lance, they all have. These guys are not good. I don't know why Justin Fields is on this list. I don't think he's a bust. I think he's shown good talent, good skills here and there.
Oh my God, he is terrible.
The rest of these guys are so. Come on, Bryce Young. This guy's decision making. They're not going to get any better. These quarterbacks are horrible. I will say, I know chat was flaming me for Josh Allen saying he has a lot of picks. I know this year he's been money. He has been throwing picks, but traditionally Josh Allen is a turnover man in playoffs. But I would build a team around that guy. That guy is fantastic. Great talent. I love his talent.
If you could have any of those young developmental,
not a single
you wouldn't
one
take any.
I would take them all and throw them in the dumpster because that's where they belong. They're terrible.
But you would have said the same thing in July about Sam Darnold.
I probably would. Yeah, I've never been a Sam Darnold guy. I'm happy he's doing
would have said
good.
the same thing a year ago about Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying, some of these guys, some of these reclamation projects.
So
I mean, look at it this way: Steve Young wasn't good till he was 31.
Oh, man. Yeah.
There was a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks. Rich Gannon won the MVP. He wasn't good in his 20s. I mean, there's the league. The Hall of Fame is littered. Kurt Warner wasn't even in the league until he was 27. I mean, there's not these guys are 2 years away from that. I'm just saying there is no minor league system. There's no place for these guys to develop. And so you either have to wash out and then find yourself by putting yourself in a good situation like Sam Darnold. I mean, a lot of people rip Sam Darnold for signing with the Niners like first thing in free agency going into last year. But look what happened. He came here. He didn't play. He got a chance to practice with Brock. He stole some of Brock's, preparation. He was around Shanahan. He cleansed his mind of all those ugly Jets and Panthers thoughts. And he winds up in Minnesota right now, and they're one of the best teams in football. I'm just saying. I don't know which of those guys.
Yeah, maybe they need a new.
Like I think Mac Jones might be able to play.
You
don't think so?
Maybe they need a new. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they need a new environment and they need the right set. Because you're right. Sam Darnold was a bust for years. Now he's finally turned it around. Maybe they need time. But that's the whole point of that post is these guys are being thrown into the fire right away. There's so much pressure. They're not ready right away, and they might need some seasoning. Like Jordan Love. He didn't get to start for a long time because he had Aaron Rodgers in front of him, and he finally got his chance, and he's cooking. So I think a lot of it does take time for an NFL quarterback to get off. You know, Josh Allen, the guy I said build a team around, he wasn't really good his first year or two, but he didn't. I just see like bad traits on a lot of these quarterbacks. Like Anthony Richardson's just bad, plain and simply. The fact that he quit on his team, he said he was so tired that he had to walk away. He said he was.
But he is 6'3", 240 with 4.4 speed.
He quit on his team. He's too tired. So that's a no for me, dog.
I hear you. It's interesting. The 49ers have Josh Dobbs and Brandon Allen behind Brock Purdy. The best that Joe Montana ever was after the Niners traded for Steve Young. The best that Steve Young ever was when Joe Montana was sitting behind him. Did the 49ers go after one of these young quarterbacks and have a more ready, backup, a guy who's ready to play? Would Brock be better if Mac Jones were his backup and not Brandon Allen? Would Brock be better if Zach Wilson was playing well in the preseason and was sitting right there ready to play? I mean, competition is the bedrock of American business. I mean, come on, capitalism is built on competition. Joe Montana wouldn't have been Joe without Steve. Steve wouldn't have been Steve without Joe. They were better because the other was there to compete with. Should the Niners in this offseason bring in, they're going to sign Brock, but should they have a more viable second quarterback as a motivator to make sure that Brock doesn't regress, to make sure that Brock doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, to make sure that Brock continues to play at a real high level? I mean, it worked for the Niners. They rode it to championships. Walsh had the vision. Should they do it again?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Definitely good to motivate Brock, especially if he gets paid. So we've seen a lot of players that get paid and they're not the same. But Brock's a special type of guy. He's the outlier, right? He's one of those guys. He's 24. He's not on that list. He was a guy that came in. Nobody expected anything. He kind of had to work. He was kind of the guy that had to put his foot in to get there, right? He had to grind out. He had competition. There was Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and everybody thought Trey was going to be the guy. And he was that guy that put pressure on. He was on the other side, which you're saying. He was the guy that put the pressure on everybody. He had to show, I'm the man. Like, I need to take this spot. I'm not just playing for a reserve spot. I'm playing to get a starting job. And now maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a guy to, push him a little bit more to continue to get him better. But also as an insurance policy, if you pay a quarterback that much money, you better pray that, nothing happens, knock on wood. But yeah, it wouldn't be a bad move. I wouldn't hate it.
To me, it might be, look at it this way. If by chance Sam Darnold had played last year the way he played this year for Minnesota, one, the 49ers probably wouldn't let him out of there. They probably could have traded him for something seriously pretty good. Or they could have kept him and traded Brock Purdy for a ton. The only way to really get better quickly in the NFL is to have a second quarterback that somebody pays you big money for, or big draft pick compensation for. So, you know what I mean? Drafting a quarterback and investing in these reclamation projects, if you hit, it's very profitable. If you don't hit, it doesn't cost you that much. So I don't know. To me, I would have interest in Mac Jones. I thought he was good as a rookie. I'd have interest in Zach Wilson. Fields, I'm done with after watching him the last month or so. He just has no feel at all. But Richardson's intriguing to me because he is so big and so fast and so athletic. If you put Richardson, taught him how to play. He didn't play very much. I watched him in Florida. Raj, he didn't play very much. He just didn't play. If you put him on the Niners and just let him, work behind a strong running game and a good defense and just hand the ball off, I don't know, man. He has a couple good games. Suddenly somebody could come knocking at your door with a first-round draft choice. He's that big, that fast, that athletic. Just an idea. He's
got the size. He's got the product. That's why he was drafted, because his size. He looks like, oh man, can you imagine him a quarterback on our team? Yeah, he is. He's a very raw player, and it's showing for sure. R. Burns says, Larry, did you give up on Tanner Mordecai? No, not at all. I like Tanner Mordecai. I think Tanner Mordecai's got talent. I really do. I really believe that if by chance Brock Purdy got hurt
Knock on wood that it doesn't happen. But if by chance that Brock Purdy got hurt, I think Tanner Mordecai would play better than Josh Dobbs or Brandon Allen. I hope we don't find that out. But I really do believe that based on what I know about all three. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Better for sponsoring this video. Raj, what do you got cooking during the bye week? You going to get any time off? You gonna hit the beach? What are you going to be on? Where are you going to be on Sunday?
Not going to be in the beach. It's getting a little cold out there. I'll be watching some games. I might have to come out to Corte Madera. I literally might
come out to Corte Madera. I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah. I'll just be chilling, watching games, man, and posting content if there's anything to post about. But maybe I'll hop on to. We'll see what else. I don't really have anything else planned other than work this week, so that's it.
Good deal. All right, for Raj, I'm Larry. Have a great night, everybody. I'm going to stream again, believe it or not, after this Warrior game with Cyrus tonight. I'm going to be on his channel and my channel, a little dual stream in about an hour or so. We'll talk a little bit about the Warriors and the Pelicans. Until then, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.